Welcome to the Breech Birth podcast. I'm Sasha Hopkins, private midwife, breech birth educator, and your host. This is a space to hear the real, raw, and powerful stories of women who have experienced breech birth in all its layers. Each episode features honest conversations with women who've experienced breech firsthand, offering insight and reflection. This podcast was born from the knowing that these stories need to be heard to inform, connect, and reclaim the story of breech birth. Whether you're navigating breech birth yourself, supporting others, or simply curious, welcome and thank you. The Breech Birth podcast is independently created and produced. If you'd like to support the continuation of this space, you can do so through Buy Me a Coffee. Your support helps keep these stories being shared and accessible to women and families around the world, and you can find the link in the show notes. Thank you for being a part of this community. Hi, Toni. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi Sasha. How are you?
Good. So before you jump into your story, let's go through our context questions. What year was your baby born?
2024.
And where are you located?
Far North Queensland.
And how many weeks are you, or were you, I should say, when you had your baby?
I was 42 or 43, something like that.
Yeah. And what sort of care did you receive?
I was seeing my GP. He's known me since my mum was pregnant with me. It was just for like blood tests and stuff like that. Otherwise, it was just by myself doing life.
Yeah. Planned free birth?
Yes.
You had a vaginal birth?
Yes.
So before you jump into your story, would you like to share a little bit about yourself to give our listeners a snapshot of who you are?
Yep. So I'm a mum of 3 and I grew up in Cairns local. How I came about my third was really just a slow transition from my first birth was all the medical, this and that, hospital birth, all the visits, all the scans, all the everything. I had no one in my realms of even being a natural birth or anything like that. I ended up falling pregnant not too long after with my second, and he was through the MGP at my local hospital there in Cairns. Had a really amazing midwife, and I had a doula. She was great, and then slowly just kind of being in that circle of people, I was just like, oh wow, like you can free birth. I didn't know people even did it outside of the hospital. Family was never in that kind of scene, which kind of brought me to wanting to free birth my third baby.
Amazing. So you've had 2 previous vaginal births.
Yep.
And they were both head down?
Yes, both head down. My first was posterior head down. My son, he was just regular head down the right way.
Just a regular.
Yeah, anterior or something.
Yeah. And so with your third, were you planning? Was it a surprise?
Surprise as in falling?
Yeah.
So kind of. I said to my partner, oh, can we try for number 3? And he was like, oh, yeah. And then like 2 weeks later, I was pregnant. Yeah. And he's like, damn, I didn't realize it was going to be that quick. But before my third baby, I did fall pregnant, and I had a late miscarriage at 13 weeks. Baby had stopped growing some weeks prior, and I had that baby by myself at home. And then it was about 3 or 4 weeks after that when I fell pregnant with now baby number 3. Yeah.
Okay. And how do you flow through your pregnancies? Do you get nausea and vomiting at all?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of nausea, a lot of food aversions. More so with now that I've had 2 girls, more so with my girls. But yeah, just once I got into that second trimester, everything kind of feels great from there. Yeah.
Okay. And so with your third, so you're seeing your GP for care. Was there a referral to the hospital at all? Did you go to the hospital at any point?
No, I basically told her, look, I don't even want to bother with MGP or anything like that. I'm going to attempt a home birth. She's pretty relaxed with stuff like that. She was just like, yeah, look, I know you're not the type of patient that I'm going to put these things onto. So if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I did struggle with after my second pregnancy with like low iron. So that's kind of all I was seeing her for, was just to keep a tab on my iron, make sure we were working on getting that nice and perfect for labor and everything.
And did you have any ultrasounds with this one?
I wasn't going to initially, but quite early on I had a dream that was reoccurring, and it just kept being centered around my placenta for some reason, and I didn't really take much notice of it, but it just kept repeating and repeating, and I just kept having dreams. So eventually I was like, oh, maybe it's my inner saying, you need to go get a scan. So I went and got a scan. I think it was about 25 weeks, and they said it looks like it's subcenturiate, this and that. Everything's good with baby. We'll refer you on because we want another scan. I didn't want that. I told my doctor that, and she was like, that's all good. She reviewed the scan. She's look, it's not anything I would be concerned about in regards to the different variations of a subcenturiate lobe that you can have. So I'm fine with you finding another ultrasound, and we can go from there. Yeah.
Sounds like an amazing GP, supporting and respecting what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, she's really
great. Yeah. And so what did your plan look like? Planning a free birth, did you do any education for yourself, like in the case of an emergency? Did you have a bit of an idea what that would look like?
Yeah, so I definitely watched a lot of free birth videos, some about like neonatal resuscitation, just small things that I felt were easy enough to integrate into my life and it not kind of be like, whoa, this is such a crazy thing to try and consider, but just enough to kind of that knowledge that if something did awry, that I could help remedy that situation before ambulances or anything that needed to be, in that time period of when one would arrive if that kind of come up. Yeah.
And was your partner on board?
Yeah. He was just like, yeah, okay, but that's what you want to do. We'll do it. Like, he's 5, but he was working weeks at a time, so he was barely home.
Did he have time off though towards the end so that he'd be home?
Yeah, so my son, number 2, he was born 38 weeks. So we were kind of like, oh, baby 1 was 39, baby 2 was 38.
Yeah.
So he came home 2 weeks early, and I was like, I bet you I'm going to go over now. That's kind of what ended up happening. So he stayed another 2 weeks after baby was born.
Okay. He had an extended holiday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Nice. And so how did your labour look? How did it all start?
Yeah, so just my pregnancy was just go on with life. It is what it is. I'm pregnant. I did early on have like this weird dream that I was having a breech baby, strangely enough. Maybe that's something I've got to consider. And that's where I went down the track of looking for breech videos and everything. And I could just feel like later into the pregnancy, I was like, oh, it just feels so much different. I really do feel like she's breech. The night before I went into labour, my partner and I kind of had a bit of time together, and not long after that, I was like, oh, I think that's kind of kicked in labour. So the next day we just went on with our day, and I said to my partner, we'll just see how things progress. I've done this 2 times before. I kind of knew where we were going at. I said, let's just go to the appointment. He's like, oh, what about if we just cancel? I was like, no, we'll just go to the appointment. Like, I'd rather just keep the day going. So went to the appointment, and it was funny. The hairdresser was like, oh, so what are you doing for the rest of the day? I was like, oh, probably having a baby. They're like, what? I was like, oh, yeah, I'm in labor. I'm like, oh, my God. Yeah, it was quite funny. At that stage, they were very strong. This was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They were very strong surges coming, but nothing where it was just distracting me and I had to kind of breathe it out at that stage. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing that you could sit and get your hair done.
I know, right? Yeah.
Get a chance to do it again, so you got to get in there and get it done.
Yeah, exactly. So after the hair appointments, kind of went and got something to eat, went back home. Things kind of I could feel internally were really, really amping up. So I kind of secluded myself into our bedroom, and just told my partner, look, I'm going to go in there for a bit. I feel like I need to be in like a dark space. So he just looked after the kids for a little while. I was in there for maybe 3 or 4 hours. And the kids were coming in and out.
Were they tuned into what was going on, or were they oblivious? I know kids can be like one end of the spectrum to the other.
Yeah, they were pretty tuned in. They were like, "Is the baby here yet?" Kept coming in, like, "Have you had the baby yet?" Yeah, they were just like intrigued, like, "Is the baby here yet? Is that why you're in here still?" Like I said, I was in there for a few hours, just kind of going through the motions. Things were really, really kind of picking up. My partner and I decided we didn't want to bring anyone into our birth space, bar a really good friend of mine. So I kind of just texted her and said, I think today's the day. I'll probably come over when I feel like I'm really ready. No worries, all good. Fast forward to later on that night. So Bub was born at 8:30. So this was probably around 7 o'clock. Hubby and my oldest, they were just, I don't know, they just decided to pick today was the day they wanted to butt heads the most. And they were just bickering with each other and everything like that. And I was just like, we're trying to blow up the birth pool, and things were just kind of spiraling in regards to the energy in the house. And I was like, look, bring my mum. She's up the road. Just take Lissy there. When the baby's closer, we'll bring her back to the house, and she wanted to catch the baby and stuff like that. So he's taking her up to my mum, and then we just had our son at the house. He was just shy of 3 at that stage. He was like, Dad, I want to go for a drive. I want to go to sleep. So I was down in the bathtub at this stage. And I was like, yeah, just take him. Just take him up the road. You know, he's good with falling asleep in the car. He'll be asleep, and then you can just be with me, so you can enjoy this moment. I've texted my friend. I said, yeah, Brett's taken Dylan out for a drive to put him to sleep. Could you come over? So she's like, no worries, I'm coming straight over. She's arrived as Brett was leaving, and I think it was probably about half an hour later. I was kind of just in the shower. I was getting a little bit of counter pressure on the hips from my friend, and she was just there kind of being the amazing person that she is. And I was like, I think I need to go upstairs. Had done an internal check on myself, and I was like, I can feel baby is right there in my birth canal. So I've gone upstairs. We laid out the area, kind of turned the music on, turned all the lights off, and then Brett came back. And at that stage, I was kind of on my hands and knees. I had my friend there next to me, and she was just counter pressuring, and my waters broke. Well, I had this big gush of water, and I was like, whoa, what was that? Like, did I wee myself? And she's like, I don't know. Like, did you? You're the one that's giving birth. I was like, well, I don't know. Like, maybe it's my waters. I've never had my waters break. Both my previous babies were born and cow. So, yeah, I've experienced the waters breaking. And then my friend was like, no, that's definitely your waters breaking. I can see a little toe coming out of your yoni.
Wow. Amazing.
Brett was in the kitchen at the time setting up the taps for the hose for the birth pool, and my friend was like, I don't think you need to worry about the birth pool. And he was like, what? And at this stage, my friend and I had kind of spoke about whether or not I should say baby was Breech prior, because I didn't want my family to really influence the way he was going to this free birth. I just did it to mainly not to be hiding it from him in a nasty way, but just to protect him coming into this. So he was just like, oh yeah, sweet. Like there's a foot. Like he wasn't like, whoa, is this meant to happen? Things progressed quite quickly after that. From what I heard, like I think from the time when my friend started the birth video to when baby was born, there was only a couple of minutes, and the whole thing I think went for 10 minutes from first foot out to baby being born. Yeah.
So when you pushed, did like 1 foot drop out and then the bum came, or
I think,
do you remember?
I don't remember, and I did try and ask my friend, like, before this, like, do you remember how it kind of happened? She was like, I was just amazed. Like, I nearly didn't even capture the video, the birth for you. But I think baby was posterior. So her foot came out like toes, heel, and then I'm pretty sure it was the next foot came out, toe, heel, and then posterior, and then the bum and the body, and that's kind of where my birth video started.
Okay, so the body was actually, baby's back was in line with your back
Yeah.
when they came out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And so did baby just come? Did they rotate? What did that look like?
From when I look back at the birth video, she was posterior basically to the point where she was up to birthing the chin. And that's when you kind of see her slowly kind of move to the side. But for the most part, she was posterior the whole time. Yeah.
Amazing. And so when baby was born, how were they responding? What did that look like?
So after she was fully born, we were in the lounge room at the time on the carpet, and I kind of just grabbed her because she really shot out, like straight out, kind of grabbed her. All the kind of knowledge and that I had given myself through breech birth and that prior was like, sometimes they just come out a little bit stunned. So I kind of already had that in my, and I preempted that it was a high possibility that was going to happen. So I kind of just scooped her up. She was still quite purple, but I could see pink coming through. Not much in regards to movement or anything, but I could see her chest going up and down. Cord was pulsating a lot. So I knew from everything that I had seen that was typical of some breech births. I didn't freak out. I kind of just held her, kind of tipped her like back facing me, and I kind of just gave her some rubbing motions and stuff like that. Uncomfortable in the position that I was, so I kind of leaned up against the couch and was just holding her. In the birth video, you can't hear it, but I could hear little murmurs and like stuff like that. So I kind of cradled her in my hand, kind of like this with my knees up, and I went to go wipe her face because she had some mucus coming out of her nose, and that's when she just went, ah! And she just needed a bit of time to kind of land and be present.
And did you keep her and the placenta connected for a while? Like, what did that process look like in birthing the placenta?
About an hour and a half. The placenta, I think it was about 36 minutes or something after she was born. The placenta was birthed. I moved into the birth pool that was set up, and I was like, I feel like I want to just birth the placenta in there. The bottom was nice and cushiony, and my birth photographer had arrived at that stage. She unfortunately missed the birth. At least we got some pictures of the placenta being birthed and everything like that. Once the placenta was birthed, I moved over to the couch. Let my partner have a hold, and the friend had kindly crocheted cord, and I was like, can you tie the cord for us? And she's like, what? Like, no, like, leave that for you guys. And I was like, no, like, we really love you. I would be honored if you could do that for us. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Probably one of the most beautiful parts of my pregnancy and birth was that moment connecting with my friend. And so we did that. She took me down for a shower and helped me in the shower. And then we came back up and just melted in the moment as a trio. It was amazing. I was worried having a birth photographer, thinking that maybe it was going to distract me or feel funny if someone comes there with a camera. We didn't even know she was there. It was great. Yeah.
That's a good photographer.
Yeah, she's perfect.
Beautiful. And did you breastfeed, Bobby?
Yeah, pretty shortly after. Once I breastfed her for a little bit in the birthing pool, straight after, and I'm still breastfeeding her now, and she is 19 months, I think. Yeah.
Amazing. Well done. That's a whole nother journey in itself, the breastfeeding.
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoy breastfeeding. With my first, I breastfed her throughout my whole pregnancy as well with my son, and then they tandem fed together for 2 years.
Nice.
But it was great to have a break between breastfeeding for those a few months because my son kind of naturally kind of weaned himself off once the milk dried up halfway through the pregnancy. His whole idea was like, as soon as the baby's born, the milk's back, I'm gonna breastfeed. But by that time he was kind of like, I'm right.
I'm a big boy now. Yeah, it is nice to just have your body back for a moment.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. And postpartum, did you have any tears that you know of?
No tears. I haven't had any. Luckily, I've been blessed to not have any type of tears or anything with any of my baby. I feel like I was kind of thinking possibly I was going with baby being breech and just not knowing the territory of birthing a breech baby. But apart from the last little bit of maternal pushing that was needed to get her head out, she was probably one of my easiest births, I reckon.
Yeah, in the research between breech and head down babies, there's been found to be less tearing in the breech births when compared to head down.
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be the other way around, but
yeah. So I think it's that soft tissue, soft bottom instead of a hard head on your perineum.
Yeah, everything was great. The after pains were excruciating though. My God, I would rather go through birth all over again than the after pain. Especially being number 2 was like, wow, I thought my son, the after pains after him was bad, but this was next level. Did have some tinctures there that I took and I don't know if that helped, but yeah, by like day 4, they were kind of gone. I was able to kind of resume life as normal as a family. I had my friend kind of just came over and did a little bit of body work during my pregnancy and after birth. And I think it was about I was about 2 weeks postpartum, commenced some yoni swimming. But that was it really.
Amazing. Sounds like you birth very efficiently.
Yeah, I like to think so. Yeah. Especially baby number 3, I feel like you kind of just know the ins and outs. I was a lot more connected to my body and I just knew that it was something that I wanted to do for myself, not for anyone else, not to prove a point. Yeah, so I'm happy that it went the way it did. Yeah.
Knowing what you know now and having the experience that you've had, would you do anything differently if you felt pregnant again and had a breech baby?
No, I just do life as life comes. Yeah, I wouldn't do anything differently. I didn't go out and do all these extra things or anything like that. I was like, yeah, our baby's breech. I can do this. So going into it, if I had another breech baby, I already know that I can. So yeah.
And for women listening to your story now that have a breech baby on board, do you have any words of wisdom or advice you'd like to give them?
Yeah, so my words of advice would be don't make decisions based upon what you're trying to please people for. I feel like inform yourself before you make a decision like, yes, I'm having a cesarean, or yes, I'm doing this, or anything like that. I feel like informing yourself is best, and just listening to yourself because you know and what's best for yourself. And whether that be a hospital and a planned cesarean or you have a home birth and it ends up being a transfer, just know that that's okay. It's fine. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's been amazing.
I hope I did it justice.
You did great.
Thank you for listening to the Breech Birth podcast. These stories matter. They stretch what we think we know and bring voice to experiences that need to be heard. I'm so grateful to the women who have shared their experiences with us, raw, real, and full of wisdom. If this episode resonated with you, please follow, share, or leave a review. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Breech Birth Podcast. And if you have a breech story to share, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, may we continue to reclaim the narrative, one story at a time.